Good day. Welcome to another episode of the Contractors Innovation Podcast. Today we have some guests. They'll be arriving shortly. And I've got my co-host, Dante Williams. And Dante has, this is part 4 of FE H2O Lock. Please hit the like button and please subscribe. You're going to see a lot of interesting things. We're going to do one a week with contractor innovation that other contractors can listen to, other engineers can learn from. And right now, I have a savings sheet up. This is part 4 of FE H2O Lock system. Last week we did part 3. And now we have a new Zoom account that I'm using. So this is a savings sheet. And I did this sheet a year or two ago, and it's based on 100,000 square feet of secant wall, traditional solution, often used in Toronto. 100,000 is quite a big job, but there are jobs of that size. The secant walls are large circles, so there's a lot of concrete, and they often leak. And the FE H2O Lock system is 2 layers of 5-inch shotcrete. Some of the details were shared on earlier parts of my podcast. This saving sheet is going to be on our website. The Contractors Innovation Podcast will have detailed notes. YouTube doesn't allow this type of note to go up, but Dante can explain that. You want to comment on that, Dante?
Yeah, so just the file that we have here is an image file. So like when we go ahead and upload it, well, when we're uploading the description, we can't really add photos to the description of YouTube videos. So all the show notes will be uploaded to the website, and it'll talk about, topics that we spoke about, timestamps, and then a little bit of a bio for each guest that we have and things of that nature, as including also these files and information that we have.
Very good. So this savings sheet indicates $10 million saved on 100,000 square feet. So it's basically $100 a square foot saved. And we believe the warranty of 15 years is realistic using Chem Concrete waterproof admixture. I also had another mix, FE Meta mix, that I was prepared to do it with. My patent has a feather edge, which is a taper after a wood float, 2 interlocking layers, and behind the 2 5-inch layers of shotcrete is a 18-inch drain board. So we believe that in typical Toronto conditions, the rate of evaporation will exceed the rate of leakage. And this system will also replace waterproofing. So that's where the savings comes from. And it's quite interesting. And if I had my own shoring company, which I'm getting back into shoring with CH Shotcrete, and footprintengineering.ca also illustrates, I think, 12 patents. So we're going to pursue an acquisition by a large company, the largest in North America. That's a hint. And from that, we hope to do these jobs with vertical access drill rigs. So the caisson drilling market is one I know very well. I was calculating, it's been 42 years, and enjoyed every minute of it. I started HCM, HC Macon, RWH Engineering, and that company today is the largest independent in Canada. So from that standpoint, I don't know if they're as innovative as we were, but they do lean design. Very good engineers work there. And I'm proud of having hired those people and how they continue to excel and run a very good business. In any case, I like their posts, and I know that I can compete with them again. So I don't know if we'll get Matthew on, but we're waiting for him. I think he said he might be on, and then William
Okay.
also.
Hmm.
So do, do you have any questions, Dante? It's a bit unfair, but I mean, it's
Well, I was just
you,
wondering if you could maybe start at the top of the cost savings and then explain kind of what these numbers mean. Because I know you mentioned like this is an estimate with a $10 million job, but
$10 million savings.
$10
So
million savings, sorry.
yeah, so if it was 100,000 square feet, uh, I'd almost need a calculator. But if it was 100,000 square feet, it costs more than 10 million.
Okay.
So that'd be $100 a square foot. Typically, it would cost, let's say, $200 a square foot.
Hmm.
So what I effectively do is I save half the cost, which
Wow.
which is pretty big. The other factor, if you'll notice, is it saves a significant amount of schedule. So when you're financing these jobs and you've got, let's say, condo pre-sales and different things going on, you're financing the money. And
Hmm.
if you get it done quicker, then you get to close the condos quicker. And that'd be
Okay.
a typical scenario that would be of a benefit. So often my value proposition is I save cost and schedule. And today I was going to talk to William and ask him specifically some aspects of, and Matt Janes also says that there's
Mm.
different problems and they're not really big on shotcrete issue. It is not
Okay.
the market leader. But the
Yep.
reason they're not big on shotcrete is because my wall would be bulletproof because the two layers of shotcrete on a bypass system are interwoven and cannot leak. And they have the drain board behind. You can probably intuitively understand that,
Hmm.
Dante.
Yep.
So it's almost good to try and explain it to more of a layman.
Hmm.
So maybe my viewers on this podcast, part four FE H2O Lock, will benefit. But Matt says that they've had problems with shotcrete. Typically, what happens is you go floor to floor. So if you're doing a P5, you're going down 5 levels of slab, and every joint, every level of slab is a interruption in the waterproofing. So they spray waterproofing on the Secant wall, and it ends up with having an interruption at the bottom of every wall where they put rebar. So often, with a lack of QA, that rebar is dirty. Like there's a dirty layer at
Okay.
every floor. So what happens is the secants leak at that level. So what's visible to the developer on a warranty claim is the water on the floor. So they
Yep.
call someone back, but you've got a 12-inch, 14-inch wall in front of it that's got rebar in it. So where's the leak, right? So it becomes very important to not have uh, to be able to give. Well, I'm going to give a 15-year warranty. It'll require bonding, but I'll have it.
Hmm.
And so that 15-year warranty, typically somebody would normally give a 1-year warranty. So
Oh,
that's
wow.
quite a lot of value. I saved him 10 million, plus it's a 1-year warranty.
Hmm.
But I gave him 15-year warranty because it'll never leak. With the
Hmm.
way I interlock the layers, and the key is that a secant wall, which is big circles, doesn't have any drain behind it. So you end up with coming through the crevices of the circles and leaking onto that floor. So I'm quite confident that this system, after years and years of doing different things and having time
Yep.
um, to create these patents since HCM,
Hmm.
think about things. I've done patents in the last year, Dante. So
Yep.
most of the patents in the last 5 years, and I'm going to sell my patents, and I hope to sell them to Keller. or
Hmm.
I'm fairly sure I can. Once they see what's required, I'll join them. I'll help them,
Yeah.
and probably end up happy again. And anyway, so you have any questions, Dante?
So,
About waterproofing
so,
or
so with the waterproofing, basically, the one of the ways you're saving money is that because it's not going to be damaged by the weathering of the water, which then
right,
costs
right?
money in the long run.
Yeah, like the fact, first of all, you got to find the leak. So,
Fair enough. Yeah.
to come back and solve the leak makes people worried about it, which means they don't get more than a 1 year warranty. But mine will
Mm,
never leak because my wall's continuous top to bottom. Every feather edge, every 5 inch shotcrete is staggered.
yeah.
And so you end up with a concrete wall. And then in front of that concrete wall, the
Yeah.
structural wall can go on. But we were going to talk, Williams, an expert at shooting the structural wall.
Yeah.
I was talking to him earlier today, and he said that he could talk about that final wall because
Yeah.
when he was at Torrent, they did a lot of that on the final wall.
So another question then, because this is also relating to the beating of the water from the previous episodes we did. So it's helping the water bounce off, but then where does this water end up going
So
in
you are
comparison to the other ones?
just a stupid question. You are recording, right, Dante? You're
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
recording. Yeah. So go ahead with the last question.
So because so in the previous episodes we were showing how the water doesn't seep into the concrete, right? Because we were showing the beating, right?
Yeah.
So that where does that water get placed in
Well,
comparison to like other walls that only have the 1 year warranty?
the okay. So um, when the water beads on the concrete, it's really just a test of permeability. So
Oh, okay.
they sprinkle drops on it. That's the pictures you've seen.
Yes.
Um, I don't know if do you have a can you pull that files and show it here
Yeah, let me just find it
and
real quick.
check your records?
Yep.
Chem Concrete is actually affordable as well. So that's what's interesting. If you can go through your previous attachments, this actually might turn into a good final concluding part
Here,
four.
here we
Um,
go.
I think I had given you some of the detail. There it is.
Yeah.
So here's a
Nope. There we go.
sample of Chem Concrete.
Yeah.
So it's got 5 nano components in there. It's a world patent, and it's a game changer. It's the nano components. They're not cement. They save cement. So I don't know what they are, and it's their patent. So
Hmm.
I respect that. But they're doing very well off it. They're in probably 10 or 12 countries now.
Okay.
And I was involved in trying to get the Canadian set up. I recommended the guy Jim Keller in the US, really good guy, and Boris is probably a better guy than I would have been because he's got precast business with shops and plant floor, and they're going to be
Hmm.
mixing the powders right there. It comes in uh, powders, and then they mix it, add water, and it turns into a white yogurt typically.
Okay.
I've asked for 5 gallon pails because I'm in contact with the Godrich salt mine, and I want to try and William and I are going to go into the salt mine and put together a test of what's called dry mix shotcrete. So
Okay.
we can do the chem concrete by a combination of chem plants like a grout plant, and we can add water and yogurt at the nozzle, which would allow us to create this type of effect in a salt mine. That's definitely got them interested.
Hmm.
So the salt mine engineer is a guy named Mark Gilmore. I think he's away this week, but
Okay.
I did send him a follow-up proposal, and I'll just resend it every week until he
Hmm.
calls me. Um, but that's interesting. Hey, you see how that normally you never see concrete that when you go pour a sidewalk right away, the rain goes into the concrete. So that's
Yeah.
called permeability.
Yes.
And there's certain things you can do with sealers. might give you some of this effect in the first week, but this is a permanent impermeability. Typically, concrete would be, they use crystalline. Crystalline admixes are very popular. $1 billion companies, Crichton and Zypex are two Canadian companies that do $1 billion around the planet.
Okay.
But it's 35% waterproof, 35%. So Chem Concrete is 95%. And
Okay.
because it's so nano-like, it replaces cement. So it doesn't replace all the cement, but it reduces the cement. So cement is a key thing that everyone thinks is a problem. High CO2. It's true. It's one of the largest products of CO2, but it's really about cost. What most people care about is cost
Hmm.
and long-term performance and warranty. So the idea of myself creating the system and then giving a 15-year warranty, it's unheard of. And
Yeah.
but I do it without fear because I would also have full-time QA. So I'd probably hire Isherwood, where Matt Janes works for Isherwood.
Yeah.
I had success with him at the Bow in 2007, and we had full-time QA. So that there's a cooperative effort. I think what happens is when the inspectors periodically visit, they're not told the truth of what happened yesterday. And it's better to have an inspector on site, develop trust with the workers,
Yes.
and then there's an exchange of information that is on a different level. It's not
Okay.
like, oh, here comes the inspector, quiet, quiet, quiet. Quite often that's the behavior you can imagine, Dante, what you see in construction.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Okay. So with
Can you share any other details? There wasn't other details that I shared with you
yep,
before.
I still have them.
Okay,
Um,
let's. This is a good part
yeah,
four concluding episode
yeah.
of
Let me
FE
just.
H2O Lock wall, waterproof wall.
So I have which ones do I have? Documents. Here we go. So I have this one here. This is a
Oh,
scan.
that's excellent. So typically, I created this system, single layer at HCM, and it was meant to replace caisson walls. But what I did was I developed a steel spigot, and that's a secant pile, but that pile there is not like circle after circle. That would be every 8 to 10 feet, the steel beam, and then I used welded tabs. You can see the tabs. It's called a weld clip, um, and there's two. This is the version now that's patented, two 5-inch layers. So I used to do it without the second 5-inch layer, and we would do self-drilling bars and uh, use sacrificial steel design. But this was a temporary wall. Now
Hmm.
we're talking about a permanent wall, but you could still use sacrificial steel design, finish that second layer of 5-inch shotcrete there. And Bob's your uncle, the feather edge joint section. You see, I make a special note there. So we have
Right
those
here.
details on our website, footprintengineering.ca,
Yeah.
and I believe it's also on chshotcrete.ca. So now we're into if you see the title block there, U.S. FE patent sale, September 10th, 2025.
Hmm.
But now I've decided to sell all my patents, so Canadian and U.S. I was going to keep some of the Canadian ones, but there's more Canadian patents than U.S. ones. And if I can get this deal with Keller,
Yeah.
then I think what will happen is they'll benefit in Canada and the U.S. because they have 5 offices in Canada and 45 offices in the States.
Wow.
So Keller's $1.5 billion in sales in the U.S. And the next
Hmm.
largest company is 500 million. And they're also very innovative. So I would share the same values. If I
Yeah.
created any more patents, Keller can own the patent.
Yeah.
But I'm 66. I just want to work 3 to 5 more years, as long as I
Hmm.
can think straight. And now that I don't drink anything, then life's become easier.
Yeah.
And eh, so there's category one is kind of the people that do, let's say, over 15, 20 million a year
Okay.
in sales. Like HCM would be a category one. Um,
Okay.
and HC Macon out in Calgary, or HCM contractors in Calgary. And then GIP, Green Infrastructure Partners, is one of the largest. They're also consolidating companies like Deep Foundations and Anchor Shoring, who I used to work with Deep Foundations in the 80s.
Okay.
They were bought by Green Infrastructure Partners. So uh, they have some interest in this system, but it's going to go. I was talking to Tobin Jerry, and he I don't think politically he could pull it off, or he's so busy that he
Yeah.
can't get in the weeds the way we used to. But he's a really good guy, and maybe we'll make a deal that'll let them be a second bidder. When I was trying to sell FE H2O Lock, I thought, well, I could sell it to Roney, a big shoring company, and Peter Seibert, I know,
Hmm.
and sell it to Green Infrastructure Partners and sell it to HCM, which was just after I left HCM. But I think that three bidders is probably not as much fun as one bidder. Like in a sense that Keller, the kind of solutions Keller does, they're the only ones who do them because
Okay. Yeah.
they're actually the largest geotechnical foundation contractor in the world.
Yeah.
So they're huge worldwide, and they certainly I think like some of my ideas. So
Yeah.
I'm hope you can follow Keller actually, Dante.
On LinkedIn?
Yeah, on LinkedIn and on yeah. So
Okay.
so go to Keller. I think they have 175,000 followers.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'll check them out on LinkedIn.
yeah, we're going to educate you, make
Yeah.
you. I think you could be a foreman, Dante. You've got good personal skills.
Thank you.
All you have to do is work for like most engineers. Young engineers come into the field and we expose them for a year, maybe and we tell them, work with your hands.
Yeah.
The salt of the earth is labor, but the true teamwork thing, which I had a value of teamwork at HCM, service, sustainability, and innovation. Those
Hmm.
are those are winning values, and I think that's why HCM is what they are today as an independent contractor. But Keller has the same values, interesting enough. So they really value sustainability,
Yeah.
and the way to get sustainability is to reduce cost, and it just naturally saving materials is a more sustainable idea. They do a lot of ground improvement, and the ground improvement. I'm interested in learning more about ground improvement. And
And so, what do you mean by ground improvement?
well, that would be like if you, let's say that you traditionally you might take beams or piles and it's fairly expensive to do that
Yeah.
um, under a building. But if you look at the ground under the building and say, well, this ground is almost you could almost make it work the way it is. Instead of over designing piles, they would actually do something called rigid inclusions, or they would do, I believe they probably have some geopolymer solutions. MC Botchamy is something that I'm trying to get into the Godrich salt mine. And so by looking at uh, the geopolymers, you can vary the set and the strength. So you can get the strength you need
Yeah.
in the soil. So they actually take a soil body. Let's say if the soil was 40 feet deep and had rock at the bottom, they could take maybe 30 feet of that soil, not even approach the rock, and they could improve the soil at the top 30 feet. Like when you put a footing in, you just have to float the building. And they would have advanced analysis tools, finite element tools,
Yeah.
that would allow the engineers within Keller uh, to uh, to run programs and you can imagine the team they have around the world. If they're the
Yeah.
largest, and they're in every country as far as I know, and they do that ground improvement, and that is very cost effective. Rather than buy beams, ship them into a port,
Yeah.
unload the beams, and drive the beams into the ground, they might be able to do something with 5-gallon pails that would be inject the ground so the
Yeah.
ground becomes one big footing, almost like a big pad.
Okay. Got
And
it. Yeah.
yeah, I look forward to trying to work with them because I think I can learn what they do,
Yes.
and then I would understand how to apply it,
Yeah.
in terms of anyway. So how long we been, but
That's what about 30 minutes so far? Almost 30 minutes?
yeah. So I don't think I'm going to get William or Matt. Maybe there'll be a part 5, but actually that was pretty good, Dante.
Yeah.
I appreciated being able to explain it to you. And I think often these podcasts, if they're a little shorter, might be somebody's got time to listen to a half an hour, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So why don't we run with that? And
Okay.
what I ask everyone listening to this to like and subscribe
Hmm.
to the Contractors Innovation Podcast. Learn, and contractors are characters, and you can learn a lot from the salt of the earth labor.
Yeah.
It's the best lesson I ever learned was to listen to the laborers, ask them the question rather than take it from the office and tell the laborer what to do. Always ask the laborer their opinion.
Yeah.
It was a
Because they
winning.
know what's going on right there in
Yeah,
the ground.
yeah, and they're practical.
Yeah.
They see problems right away when somebody says, "Can you dig a 10-foot hole right here?"
Hmm.
Well, the dirt will fall on my head if I do that. It can get. I'd be surprised what goes on.
Yeah.
But we want to work safe.
Yes.
Everybody come home at night,
Yep.
and God bless everybody. I'm going to sign off. Thanks a
All
lot,
right.
Dante.
No, thank you. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Baby, I need to know